Hello, how's it going? My name is Sammy and today I wanted to talk to you about the 3 books that I read in January. I know that is very small for a number of books to talk about in a wrap-up on YouTube. I know that most people read so much more. I'm a very slow reader. I do take forever and I seem to read, slump, read, slump, read, slump. Story of my life, don't know why, that's just how it is. I think I get so invested in a book that when it's over I need a couple days to recover. Like for example, I finished House of Flame and Shadow and I finished that last week and I have not started another book since. So yeah, just for some context, that is the way I read apparently. It's very annoying. I'm so sorry, this is so boring. So yes, I wanted to do a January wrap up. I literally wasn't going to because I just thought this is going to be so short. But I read some good books and I really wanted to talk to you about them, so I hope that's okay. So to kick the year off, went straight in to a 5-star read. Cannot believe it. What a great way to start the year. So amazing. The first book that I read this year was book 2 in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I really enjoyed this series in general. Loved, I think book 1 I gave a 4 out of 5 star, and then book 2 I gave a 5 out of 5. I think I loved book 2 because you spend a lot of time with a particular character who is just so, you just want to read more about them, and I loved learning more about them. It was just so good. There was also another side character in the series that you spend time with. In particular on this, it's like one of the friends, and I just really liked him as well. He was just such a cool character, very flawed, but just also something charming and charismatic about him as well. Really enjoyed it. If you haven't heard of this series before, I'm really late to the bandwagon of this series. I am always late to like things that are trending and hyped. I do get there eventually, but yeah, the series follows our main character called Evangeline, and literally in the first chapter of the first book, we find out that the love of her life is marrying her stepsister, I'm pretty sure. And so she goes to, I think, pray at the Temple of Broken Hearts. Is that what it's called? She goes to pray to the Prince of Hearts. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten so much. I think that's his title. Oh my goodness. If I remember, I'll pop up his actual title if I got Prince of Hearts wrong. Prince of Hearts, Prince of Broken Hearts. I can't remember. But she goes to essentially pray to ask him to somehow help call off the marriage, because that's the love of her life, not her stepsister. And then, but making that prayer or making that request, she doesn't realize, I guess, the knock-on effect and I guess the payment that she would have to make for this to come true. And so it's just chaos after that, really. I apologize. I feel like throughout this whole video you will hear my husband in the background shouting at his computer game. He's playing with his brother and his friend, and he's very loud. He's literally in between me, and then in the room next to him is the baby sleeping. So our baby may not be sleeping for long. Anyway, apologies if you can hear that. Yeah, but absolute chaos ensues after that, and it's really cool. I really like it. I did the second book, well, actually the third book I read in January, but I feel like I may as well group these together. The third book I read in January was A Curse for True Love, which is the third book in the series. And I find with this series, I feel like book 1 is kind of about one thing, and then books 2 and 3 are kind of like, oh, not even books 2 and 3. They're kind of each individual stories, but are all linked somehow. I find the connectiveness Is that a word? I don't think that's a word. But I find that like the story just doesn't seem like, you know how you normally have an overarching storyline? This didn't seem to have that. It kind of had individual storylines, not one big overarching thing. Anyway, it seemed disjointed in that sense, but that was not enough for me to not enjoy the series. I don't think that makes sense. I'm jumbling words. I'm so sorry. Book 3 I read, and I know that people don't typically love book 3 too much. I still gave it a 4 out of 5 star. I really enjoyed it. I feel like the antagonist in this series almost, I feel so sad for the antagonist in this series. Like, I don't know if, I just feel bad for them. I don't know. I don't know if it was like, I don't want to spoil anything. I just feel bad for them. And I feel sad that they are the antagonist. Blah, 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 blah. I can understand why people didn't like book 3 as much. Did I already say I gave it a 4 out of 5? I gave it a 4 out of 5 star. So not a 5 out of 5, I like book number 2. I'm doing things that I'm driving myself nuts. I apologize if I'm driving you nuts so far in this video. But yeah, I can understand why people don't love it quite as much, because the character who you, or Evangeline and you kind of learn so much more about and develop a relationship with in book 2, you don't get that as much in book 3. I feel bad for the bad guy, and yeah, the side character that you also develop kind of a relationship with in book 2 as like the friendship, I don't remember him really being in book 3 much at all, which he was a little bit, but not too much. And that is such a shame, because I thought he was a really cool side character. It was kind of a bit weird and disjointed. Like the friends and stuff that you make in the first 2 books are not really in the 3rd book, because the 3rd book's off on another tangent. That's my only real complaint, is like, it's just the disjointedness of it. Overall, loved the series. I would probably actually read it again. I enjoyed it that much, and I'm not a big rereader. And the last book that I read, and I actually read this book while I was in hospital, basically waiting for our baby to be born. We were in for a couple days, very long story, you don't need to hear it. But anyway, I had a lot of time in hospital. So I took my book with me, and so this is the first book I didn't annotate, because I don't know what I'm supposed to annotate, but I did actually go through and underline things that I thought were really sweet, or just like heartbreaking and stuff. And this is actually one of my first proper contemporary romance books. And so I went to my sister-in-law, because she is a prolific reader. She reads all the fantasy romance, all the romance. She actually reads a bit of everything. She is prolific. And so I said to her, if I wanted to dip my toe into the pool that is romance, contemporary romance, not romantasy, where would I begin? I want something light, fluffy, fun. I don't necessarily think this book was light, fluffy, fun, but the book she told me to read was Love and Other Words. And it's quite funny, because after she told me that, it's like, you know when you learn about a new car and then you start seeing that car on the road everywhere? It was kind of like this. Like, I had never really heard of the book before, and then I did, and then I started finding out it was everyone's favorite like romance book. Everyone gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So I was like, oh, she's got a great recommendation. That's amazing. So yes, so I read Love and Other Words, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 star, which is pretty good for me, for someone who's not particularly interested in books without some elements of fantasy. Gotta have the romance. So yes, read it in hospital. I think some of it was really interesting. So we had a baby girl, and the start of the book, I'm someone who like avoids sadness, which is something I need to probably unpack a lot with my psychologist. But in books, TV, films, I never sit in the sadness. I'm very much an avoider, and so I know that I need to start trying to sit in that sadness or sit in that discomfort a little bit. And so the start of this book, I think because I was going to have a little girl and it was about relationship with a mum and her daughter and stuff like that, it made me so sad. I think I cried quite a bit in just the literal first 2 or 3 pages. And I was not going to continue reading it. I was like, maybe this is not the time for this. Yes, so I was going to put it down, and then I decided, no, you got to sit in this. You got to get through it. Everyone loves this book. You can do it. I think also because her job was like helping kids who were really unwell. Oh gosh. That stressed me out. I don't know how I would go reading that now that my daughter is actually born. So I wasn't sure how we were going to go. Read it, really gobbled it up. I couldn't sleep while I was in hospital. Again, another tangent. So I just read, and I only read, it only took me a couple of days. I really like the relationship in the series. I think Elliot is so sweet. Basically, it's like a friends to lovers to friends again, and then you're hoping they become lovers after that. And so the reason like that their relationship originally broke up, so they were friends and they got in a relationship when they were younger through high school, and then they broke up, and then so you're in modern day and it's going back to their relationship developing when they were younger. And so you're as the book is going on, you eventually find out at the end why their relationship didn't work originally. So there was a bit of like, there's miscommunication in there, and then when they communicate about it, it kind of didn't sit right with me. Like, I don't know how to describe this. I'm so sorry. But I don't know. I thought the resolution, it happened so quickly. I don't know. I didn't really believe it. I don't know how I felt about the resolution, and that's why I gave it a 4-star. The rest of the book I really enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed it. It was really sweet. Yeah, maybe so many people have read this. If you have read it, maybe you can somehow, in a cryptic way in the comments, talk to me about it, because we don't want to spoil it for anyone. I'm so mindful of that, and I feel like, I really hope I haven't done that. I feel like I've been ominous enough. I feel like it's okay. Anyway, I've managed to make a 15-minute video just talking about 3 books, so I should probably let you go. But yes, they are the 3 books that I read in January. Should I tell you what I anticipate reading next month? Or this month now? We're well into Feb, sorry. I wasn't gonna do this, and that's why it's so late into February. So anyway, I am hoping to read Magnolia Parks. I have started it. I started it before reading House of Flame and Shadow because I had a little bit of time in between A Curse for True Love and then waiting for House of Flame and Shadow to come out. So I started Magnolia Parks, and I was really enjoying it. I liked Gossip Girl, but the other thing that people say it was like was, what's it called? Made in Chelsea. I absolutely loved Made in Chelsea, and I'm definitely getting Made in Chelsea vibes when I read it, which is so good. But then I kind of read House of Flame and Shadow and have not picked it up again since. So I need to work on that. Hopefully tonight I might try and have a little nap and then read a bit tonight in between feeds. So I'm hoping to read that, and then if all goes well and we like this, I'll continue the series. If I don't, I'm hoping to start Powerless by Lauren Roberts and join that whole world and bandwagon that everyone else is getting to enjoy right now. I still haven't read Iron Flame. That's a to-do. I don't know. I liked Fourth Wing. I didn't love it. See, this is my problem. Again, I come late to bandwagons, so much hype. I go in with such high expectations and then get a little bit disappointed. But that's my fault because I go in way over, like with super high expectations. So anyway, at some point we need to tackle that as well. But yes, please tell me some of the things you read in January, and please tell me what your reading plans are for Feb. That would be awesome. All right, guys, I will talk to you all soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.